Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back. It's Paula here with Paula's Imperfect Plans. On my channel we do all things my personal finance, from zero-based budgeting, cash, some cash budgeting, some cashless budgeting. We do sinking funds, savings challenges, and debt payoff, all in an effort to get our financial lives in order. So today we're doing a budget closeout. I use the Paycheck budget tracker from the Budget Mom. I bought the printable version or the PDF version, so I just print out the pages that I need, because really I use the monthly calendars very sporadically. I've started filling them out, but I don't necessarily need them. And then I use the Paycheck budget tracker, I use the cash envelope breakdown, and I use the expense trackers. That's really it. So it's helpful that I can do that and print it off myself, and really have the most, efficient use of paper, I guess. So we are going to do this budget closeout. I'm going to pick a different color. I really liked that purple, but now I'm like, that's too much to all be that purple. So we're going to close this budget out. This was our paycheck that we received on September 5th. And so you're seeing this on payday, which is the 19th. So this pay period is now over and we moved on to our next one. Some people budget in, and I think the Budget Mom probably even shows it, to show like your rollover or your buffer and to leave all of that in your budget. I budget my paychecks from 0 to 0. And what I mean by that is there is a buffer in my account and I don't count it. When I get paid, you can look at my messy expense tracker. When I get paid, I start at 0. I add in my paychecks and that's all I'm budgeting. I don't share the rollover. I don't share whatever. I start out as having $0. I don't even put starting balance because it's $0. I add my income. I subtract my expenses. We get to the end and I zero it back out. So with the lunch meal, school lunch that didn't, you'll see it, but the school lunch didn't get taken out and work meals didn't get taken out. Because, well, I guess that was a previous video I explained it in, but we didn't do our work meal yesterday because my boss was sick, and so we did our team meeting virtually, and my other coworker and I decided to just get work done and not meet up to go to lunch. So that left $27.05 here. I zeroed it out. That went to debt. I called it rollover and put it into the next paycheck spreadsheet, mainly because I wanted to make one payment with completed challenges and this rollover and the payment for, from today's paycheck. I wanted to do it all in one payment because for the first time ever, I experienced something that Steph with Steph's on a Budget brought up the other day. It wouldn't let me make an extra payment. I used to make a payment every single time I had something to put on a debt, because if it gets out of my bank account and whatever, I can't change my mind and do anything else with it. But for the first time, it restricted me. So I'm rolling it over so I can make the whole payment today with our paycheck. In any case, so I budget from 0 to 0. Typically no rollover, nothing like that. So even though I called that rollover, it's being rolled over solely for the purpose of putting it towards debt. So let us jump in and get started. My paycheck was $13.15.80, and my husband's was $17.21.44. Now, we do have some other things. I don't have enough lines for it. That is my sole complaint about the Budget Mom. Actually, well, so here I'm going to put mileage plus rollover plus roundups. Which I usually have roundups because we paid back our card expenses from our cash envelopes and had to round up. This time I didn't pull the cash out. So the only thing that was rounded up was 2 cents from the only expense that I actually took out in cash, or had to take out of a cash sinking fund. So 2 cents in roundups and $579.82 in mileage. So this first row is going to be $579.84. And then the next line is going to be plasma. I never count on it. Love when I get it. I went twice for 2 weeks, so 4 times. And that was $245 in total, which means that if we add up all of our inflow, we have $3,862.08 to work with in total during this pay period. So let's jump down then to our fixed expenses. With this first paycheck, I set aside half of the internet, which is $35. We have an $80 donation. Ugh. Our electric bill was $368.24. I usually try to budget $350 except for like the hottest months, but and like in July our bill was $401, or like the bill at the beginning of August for the month of July. So I thought maybe we'd get back down to that $350, and we weren't quite back down there, but $368.24. Life insurance is $131. Prime is $748. So Disney Plus is $0. Well, yeah, $0 because I canceled it. XM is $10.68. Instant Ink is $5.82. I'm not currently doing Kindle Unlimited. Netflix is $8.55. My kids' insurance is $40. I think I explained this. Fox One. So I subscribed to a couple things so that I could watch all the sports that I wanted to watch. We don't have any form of cable or anything like that. A lot of the WNBA playoff games, which I have the WNBA app for, but I have to, if they're aired on another channel, I can't watch them on the app until they're over on those other channels. So I paid for a Fox One subscription, and then you'll see, I think in the next pay period, that I also subscribed to the Disney Plus bundle that includes ESPN Unlimited, so that we could watch some of the college football when my in-laws were here. But between the two, I can watch literally all of the sports now, the football and basketball that I want to watch, and so I will probably keep them until those seasons are over. But in any case, $21.39 went to Fox One. $300 was set aside for our home and car insurance, which we pay every 6 months, and next comes due in November. I actually got the auto insurance bill, and I was really excited because I'm pretty far ahead in saving for that, depending on what the homeowner's bill ends up being. And I put $5 away for workout and $5 for Mint Mobile subscription. So let's look at our fixed costs.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. Which aren't necessarily fixed, some of them, but they are my bills. They are the things that I have to pay every month if I want to continue to use them. And I treat my annual and semi-annual sinking funds the same way, because if I don't have them, like the insurance, I need to have it when it's ready, and so I treat it like a fixed bill that I have to set aside money for every month, otherwise I will not have it. Okay, so that leaves us with $2,843.92. The main difference here was that, $18.24 difference in our electric bill. So now we move down. I switch the savings and the variable sections because I need more lines for variable. So for our savings goals, which are admittedly put on hold while I do everything I can to pay off this Wells Fargo. Not everything I can, but while I work hard on that. Oh, that was stupid. Okay, this is actually $21.40 because I mathed incorrectly when I was figuring the tax. So that's 1 cent more, which means this is 1 cent less. So sorry about that. That's annoying. I know that, but that looks super scribbly to you guys. Okay, so for our savings goals, I put, we do the Save 2025 and 2025 tracker that I have. There's different squares, so what we set aside for our emergency fund is different every time, but it's usually somewhere in the range of $70 to $80. There was one, I think there was just one $100 square, and so I did that with this paycheck. $50 goes into our vacation sinking fund, nothing for propane, $20 into our kids sinking fund, nothing for medical because we cash flowed some medical expenses, and so when that happens, I just think like, I know I'm not putting any in the sinking fund, but by cash flowing some expenses, I'm avoiding having to use the sinking fund, and so, $150 towards medical, whether I'm putting it in the sinking fund or cash flowing it, You know, if I didn't cash flow it, I'd pull it out of the sinking fund. So 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. Nothing into our gas sinking fund. $40 goes into cash for Christmas, our Christmas challenges. Our holiday binder was $15 and our minis binder was $210. Those are all three of those are in cash. And then I forgot until the very bottom that I also am back to saving for summer daycare because summer is over. My kids are back in school and I'm saving up for next summer's daycare. Paula, I only took out 6. I had a mini. And so between the mini and this $6, I was able to finish one of my holiday challenges. So I didn't pull the whole 15 because I did have that mini. And so I cheated a little bit and pulled that out of there. So 6, 210, 180 towards summer daycare. So let's look at our savings. $606. If we subtract that from $2,843.91, we are then left with $2,237.91. $2,237.91 then brought into our variable category. For our variable expenses, we pulled $350 for groceries and went over that if you were present at my check-in yesterday. Our spending, $70 each. It is $140 for us for the pay period. Beauty was $49.12, even though I had nothing budgeted. The company where I get my nails, my like press-on fake nails, had a sale. And so then when I do that, I was 25% off, plus I ordered enough to get free shipping. So for $49.12, I got 7 sets of nails. So that's like $7, just under $7.02 per manicure. So work meals ended up being 0 because I did not use that 20. Drinks was 60, 100 for dine out, 30 for car wash, even though I ended up pulling it and moving it elsewhere. Not really keeping track of all that. $18 went to our kids' allowance. Nothing went to co-op diesel. There was nothing in that bill. School lunch ended up being 0. I had originally had 120 just because I was just putting a generic number in there. Then the amount was $7.04 that was due after like the summer credit on the Raise Right apps from all the gas that we bought over the summer. But then they ended up then crediting at the beginning of September everything purchased in August. So then it ended up covering that $7.04. So I still had a credit on my account. So that's 0. At Target, I had budgeted because I got pull-ups and clothes for my daughters. I ended up returning one of the things that I bought. And so the total that we spent at Target for that pull-up/kids was $100.93. Okay, so then this is gas cards. I explain this every time, so I'm so sorry. Our school, my kids go to private school, so we have the Raise Right app where you can purchase gift cards to different places, and each store has a different amount of a percentage then that they allocate that you like get back, goes back towards your school because it's fundraising. But our school, which is fantastic, they really wanted to encourage people to use it because it's free. Like I use it. You can get carried away buying gift cards that you don't need and spending extra money, but I bought my husband and I each a Quick Star gas card. We're getting gas anyway, and we put the money on there, and then that's where we get gas. So we're getting that percentage for money that we spend anyway, but instead of going to this, because it started all going to the school, and then it was like they half went to the school and half went to like our tuition or preschool tuition or whatever. And this is the second year doing it, it goes to the lunch account. So everything, when we buy gas cards or reload, I guess, our gas cards, we get a percentage that goes back to our lunch account, which is what I was talking about. The credit gets applied. Okay, so I had $100 and then there's a 29-cent fee to take it out of my bank account. So in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty small fee, no matter the amount that you spend. Okay, so $100 plus my mileage check was $579. So I spent $679 and then the 29-cent fee. And fun fact, usually Quick Stars gives like 4% back, which isn't huge, but it all adds up and we spend a lot in gas and it's money off of our school lunch bill regardless of how much it is. but they were running a promotion. And so at that $6.79, I got 9% back, which was $61. So that was a credit to my, whatever, it's more than double what it usually is. Anyway, so fun story. That's all went to gas, went on our gas cards. So then like with the next paycheck that we're getting today, I usually budget $100. I'm not even going to put the $100 on because my mileage check was exceptionally large for August. So like that loaded our cards for a little while. I won't put any money on gas. So it's not that we're not spending money on gas. I'm just putting nothing new on the cards. We pay in advance for gas. Okay. Medical expenses. So I had $79 budgeted, and I guess that is all we spent. My son had to have fillings and a tooth pulled, and he's got a whole lot of dental anxiety, and so he gets laughing gas along with whatever else, and insurance doesn't cover the laughing gas. So that's $79 I pay out of pocket, which is funny because I think the last time he had to have something filled, it was only $50. So they've significantly, or maybe they just had to give him more. I don't know, but that increased our costs, which is not a big deal. I opened the bill and I was surprised because I was like, oh, when did that increase? Okay, so variable costs here. All right, is $1,606.34, which like it looks like we're way over budget, but the reality is, I mean, we are over budget, but I never plan for my mileage check. I mean, there are months where I barely have $300 in mileage check if I have a bunch of cancellations, or if I happen to not, like I know that in August I had a bunch of days with like trainings where places I wouldn't normally go, like extra days driving to extra places for stuff. So it just totally depends on the month, or like there are some months where I can make one loop around a few counties and get, 4 or 5 people on the same day. And then the next month I'll have that scheduled and 4 of them will reschedule, and I'll have to reschedule them each individually. And so I'll have to make that loop several times in the month. It just totally depends. I try to be as efficient as I can with our company's resources. But I also have to get my job done. And so if I have to keep rescheduling people and keep making those trips, I do that. And so some months it's fun because you get a $579 gas check. Or gas reimbursement, or mileage reimbursement, excuse me. Okay, so now if I take that and I subtract it from we are left with $631.57. Okay, and we are coming down here to I do have our spooky season binder. So into our debt binder, I will tell you exactly what went in there. So this change in the Target bill, 19, and when I added that to, I don't know, our rollover or something, I had $19. So $19 went into the debt binder plus our plasma. So 120 and 125. So $264 went into the debt binder, and that's where that came from. So hasn't been applied to debt yet, but it will be. And then when we look at our Wells Fargo card, let's break it down here. So our payment, well, actually, the amount like on payday, what I had to put towards it was $340.52. And then I have the $20 from work meals and the $7.05, which is a penny from somewhere plus the $7.04 in school lunch that I didn't need, so $7.05. So that brings us to $367.57. And then if I add that to $264, that brings me to $631.57, which is exactly what we had when we started in the debt category. So that does give us our zero-based budget. Sometimes I forget that the things that I have going on here, that I've been doing this for a long time, that this has advanced. So zero-based budgeting is new to me, I would say, in the last 1.5 or 2 years. Started while I was doing the channel. But budgeting is not new to me. So I have a whole process and a whole system. So if any of it doesn't make sense, if you have any questions, always please let me know. And I am more than happy to explain my thought process or how I do things or how I got started, anything like that. Give this video a thumbs up on your way out, and please hit that subscribe button. It's free to support people by subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.